The little boy saw that his father hadn't finished his yogurt. He reached out to take it, but his dad quickly snatched it away and sternly warned, "Don't ever touch anything I've eaten again." What the boy didn't know was his father was trying to protect him. John was an ordinary window cleaner. Not long ago, he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. He had less than 3 months to live, but his son was only 3 years old. John couldn't bring himself to tell him. He could only pretend everything was normal, continuing to take care of his son, washing and combing his hair, reading books, teaching him to recognize words. Every night, he waited until his son fell asleep before secretly taking his medication. He knew time was running out. His top priority now was to find an adoptive family for his boy. They visited a wealthy family. The couple was cheerful, and their conditions were excellent. John was quite satisfied. If his son could live here, he'd surely grow up healthy and happy. But something the man said made John change his mind.
Of course we can afford the best education for our son. I mean, your son.
It turned out they already had a biological child. John knew there would inevitably be favoritism. He couldn't risk his son being treated unfairly. As they crossed a footbridge, John asked his son,
"One day, Michael, would you like to live somewhere else? In a different town, different home?"
I like home.
John said nothing more. He returned to the welfare agency to continue looking for the right adoptive family. The staff suggested he make a time capsule to leave memories for his son once he grew up. John refused.
Why does he have to know he was adopted? We will find him a family that will be his family, his only family. He won't even have to remember how useless his parents were. His mother leaves him and then his father dies. I mean, that'll definitely fuck him up.
He cried as he spoke, but when he got home, he acted like nothing had happened. He took his son to the park, bought him ice cream, and spent as much time with him as possible. But every time he saw other fathers watching their children grow up, John's heart ached. How was he supposed to tell his son that he was going to die? Suddenly, his son found a dead beetle under a tree. He innocently asked, "Why isn't it moving?" John gently explained, "Everything in this world grows old and dies. Their soul leaves the body, and the body slowly decays until it disappears." But the boy didn't really understand. The next day, John went to work at another rich man's house. Because of the cancer, a splitting headache hit him suddenly, but the man assumed John was slacking off, refused to pay him, and even mocked him as a loser. Enraged, John returned with a carton of eggs and smashed them all over the man's sparkling windows. Even his Lamborghini didn't escape the wrath. John's condition worsened. His little boy climbed onto a sink taller than himself, poured a glass of water, and gently comforted his father with his small hands. A few days later, they visited a second adoptive family. This couple had already adopted 6 children and even had a dog. John knew his son loved dogs. The woman assured him they treated all the children equally, and this would be the last child they'd adopt. John was very satisfied, but the boy seemed nervous around kids his age, even hiding his favorite toy. After some thought, John decided to pass on this family. With 2 families rejected, time was running out. He hoped to talk to his ex-wife, but the agency told him parents who once abandoned a child are very likely to do it again. That day was John's 34th birthday, and it would be his last. His son placed 34 candles on the cake, then handed him one more, as if saying, "Let's celebrate together again next year." John held back tears. He didn't know what to say. Had his son already sensed something? Soon after, John visited a third adoptive family. This one was a bit different. The woman had gotten pregnant at 16 and gave her child up for adoption. Later, doctors told her she'd never be able to conceive again. She'd regretted it ever since, and even divorced her husband in order to adopt a child to make peace with her past. But since she was single, no one was willing to entrust her with a child. As they talked, John could tell she genuinely loved children. But then his son suddenly asked her a question.
When will you die?
John hadn't realized. His son remembered what death meant. On the way home, John saw an older boy and imagined what his son might look like growing up. But as his health deteriorated, time was slipping away faster than ever. This was the 4th adoptive family John found. His son stared at a bunny plush on the table with longing eyes. The man handed it to him and gave them a tour of the house. They were very well off, and John was satisfied. But just as they were leaving, the woman shot her husband a glance, and he took the bunny back from the child's hands. John's heart sank. If they couldn't even part with a toy, how could they be expected to love his son wholeheartedly? On the way home, the boy asked John,
What's adopt, Daddy?
Adopt is when a child cannot be looked after by his mommy and daddy, and so he can go and live with 2 nice new parents who can give him a new loving family home.
I don't want to adopt.
After asking, he started walking along a line on the ground. When they got home, John also walked along the painted line on the road, but after only a few steps, his body began to sway. He was too weak to keep his balance. Even pouring juice made his hands tremble uncontrollably. John knew his time was almost up. He visited the cemetery to get familiar with his future home. He transferred his car to a colleague. Whatever time he had left, he wanted to spend it with his son. He took his boy to an amusement park. They rode bumper cars, ate cotton candy, all things his son had never experienced before. That night, John asked his son to change into the new clothes he had bought, but the boy seemed to sense something. No matter what, he refused. For the first time, he defied his father's wishes. He even threw all his toys around the room in anger. Seeing this, John smiled. He didn't want his son to grow up too obedient. Finally, he took the agency's advice and prepared a time capsule. He wrote 15 letters, one for each of his son's birthdays to come. Inside were photos of the two of them, the only photo of his mother, his work cap, and his window cleaning tools. This was the last love a dying father could leave his son. The next morning, his son woke up early. John took him across the city to the home of the single woman. Seeing her warm, kind smile, the boy said nothing. He looked up at his father and saw him smiling back. The boy remembered what his father had said to him that night.
One day soon, your daddy will leave his body, but will always be around you, in the air.
Like the balloon in the sky.
Yes. You won't see me, but you can talk to me, and I'll listen. And you won't hear me like you hear me now. You'll hear me inside you. I will always be with you, in the air around you, and in the sunshine that warms you.
And the rain.
Aye, and the rain that gets you wet.
And the grape.
Yes,
I'll be there too.
not in the grape, but in the taste of it.